thankful for the four basic elements of life, and that's fire, water, earth, and the air that we breathe. Say we forget at times to give thanks for these four basic elements of life. Because the greatest gift we ever got from our Creator was life itself.
They were really keen and they kept it up the whole summer, and then they came back to me in the fall and said, you know, can we do this again next year? And then my new class was asking, are we going to garden this year? So it kind of snowballed from there. So the next year I had another 14 or 15. And then the third year there was another 10 or so put on. So at the end of 3 years we had like about 40 to 45 gardens in the community.
Yes, I like gardening. We've been gardening for the past 3 years, and there's more people getting interested.
The first time, that first year, there was only the basic like potatoes, carrots, and onions, was it?
Yeah.
Those were the only things that they planted. But now they're asking for more variety of things to grow.
I don't know how many years ago there was an initiative to build greenhouses. It went well, but didn't continue. It sort of phased out. Okay. So the greenhouses were abandoned. But the knowledge is still there.
I really am believing that not only can you have gardens that are a treat and a pleasure, but we can start growing some of the finest food in the world in the north.
As I was planting the seeds last spring, I thought, gee, this is so therapeutic. And then something clicked in my brain that said horticultural therapy was the answer that would be, that's it, that's the answer for our community.
We all know that the wind blows and the moon glows and our lungs grow. We belong to the floating hand that's made by some animals, and we all dance so.
My community where I'm from, when being on the Bay Line, people are showing more and more interest as they see people starting to grow their own vegetables, which we don't even have a store in our community. So now they're seeing different families growing their own vegetables such as cucumbers, carrots, lettuce, cabbage, and the list just goes on and on and on. Like,
no fresh fruits or vegetables, so we have to get Thompson fresh fruits, vegetables, and meat. And fresh fruit, it's hard to keep, you know, you can only keep it so much. And vegetables, whereas if with the garden, well, we've got to just go out to the garden and they're tastier too.
One of the community members came in after the first year and says, I'm not planting garden again. Those kids came in there and they raided my garden. I said, oh, they just pull it all up and throw it away? No. They took it. I said, hey, it's great. What do you mean that's great? I said, that's what we were planning on, hoping to do. Get these kids to eat healthier lifestyle. I said, so it wasn't a waste.
In fact, one mother said to me, we had our first meal of corn
Wow.
from the garden. You know, and she said she couldn't believe the difference in flavor from the store corn to her garden corn. It was just incredible.
We also teach the indoor composting, which is the vermiculture, and it's been really successful, especially in the schools, because the kids really love bugs and like playing with the worms and stuff like that. So that's been really successful, and I'll be walking downtown, and the little kids will be like, "That's the worm lady."
So it's nice to see that people coming together now and actually talking about gardening and then actually talking to their parents and ancestors, like telling stories, sharing stories that the way it used to be. And it's nice to hear those stories, but to actually see it happening now is overwhelming for me.
Kids and young adults, they have knowledge on 4 food groups, so we can educate them, like, because there's a high epidemic on diabetes in Island Lake area.
It was very interesting for me to see the gardeners' faces once they start harvesting. They're so proud of their work, especially when there's children involved, and like as a whole family. They're really proud and they look forward to next year's garden.
We have to do the healing first. And doing gardening and doing projects like this is very healing for the community because they're seeing something positive, something that grows. You can put in a seed in the ground, it'll grow. I don't have to wait for somebody to come and tell me, am I well?
As personally for myself, I like to see community members eating more healthier.
You don't have a store in your community, so if people didn't grow their own vegetables, like where?
Yeah, you would have to come into Thompson by train.
Wow.
That's the only accessible way to get into Thompson is by train. Well, we do have Winter Road, but then it doesn't usually come in until late December or January.
I think we're going to come out of, 700 years of oppression and suffering. That's what our elders tell us, prophesize.
So I just think we're at the point where we can raise the beds off the ground, heat them, and we can not have to spend anywhere near the amount of money we would to heat the greenhouse to have long extended growing. More than just feeding a family, we're looking at jobs, we're looking at potential future for the North. Cutting edge, right?
They reappeared as a seed of love. The earth births the vegetables. We all know. We all